Right, so what I'm going to show you how to make today is a feather stick. Firstly, I'm going to show you through what sort of equipment you're going to need to do this. Right, so the equipment that you're going to need is a knife, preferably as sharp as possible. This is just being sharpened. A saw to make sure that the piece of dead wood that you're using is the right length. And finally, something to light your feather stick with afterwards. I've got a lighter. So, what I'm going to do now is find some pieces of wet, dead wood that aren't rotten to show you how to make your feather stick. Okay, here I found one piece of wet, dead wood that's not rotten that I'm going to cut into two. Normally you wouldn't need two pieces, but I'm going to show you the right way and the wrong way how to do it. So, I'm going to get my saw and cut this in half, so I've got two straight sticks to create my feather stick with. Okay, so now I've got my two bits of wood to create a right and a wrong feather stick. Put your saw away and I'll show you how to do it with the knife. Okay, so firstly I'm going to show you the wrong way how to make a feather stick. The reason we make a feather stick is because it's been raining and there's not anything dry in the woods with us to get our fire going. So the common mistake is for people to pick a green stick up or wood that's not been dry or dyed. That's one of the first common mistakes. The second common mistake is the cutting technique used when making your feather stick. I'll show you the wrong cutting technique now. The wrong cutting technique to use is the movement that the slice is made at is in the elbow, and this is the wrong technique, and this is how people do it. If you can see there, all the cutting was in my elbow. If you also looked, I've made the third common mistake, which is that I'm not drawing the knife far enough down the stick, so I'm ending with short curls that aren't really curled, they're just straight. These are the three most common mistakes made when making a feather stick. I'm now going to show you the right way how to do it. Okay, so this is the right way to do it. I've got a longer stick to start with. It's still dead, it's wet, but it's not rotten. So now I'm going to show you the correct cutting technique. The first thing to remember with this cutting technique is that the pivoting is done with your hips, with your arm kept straight, unlike the wrong way of doing it, where the movement was at the elbow. So we find something to rest the stick on, and I'll show you how to cut it. We found something to rest the stick on, so with the arm kept straight and pivoting at the back, we slide the knife down the stick. So as you can see there, all the pivoting was done at my back with my arm kept straight. This allowed me to apply the right amount of force without moving too fast and cutting off my curled wood, my shavings. So as you can see there, I've got part of my feather stick. Now the next secret is to get it as dense as possible, and this is achieved by building up the feather stick in layers. The way you build it up in layers is to move so you have 3 shavings at each level. And this is done by angling the knife either straight, back or forward, and this allows you to send the shavings off in different directions, building up the layers for a denser feather stick, and I'll show you how to do that now. So with the blade angled flat against the wood, you'll see that the curls of shavings go straight down like this. With the knife angled back over like this, you'll see that the curls go away from the blade. with the knife angled forwards like this, you'll see that the shavings go towards the handle. This allows you to create a much denser feather stick. So you can see that compared to the wrong way of doing it, we've got a much denser, curled over selection of shavings for the wood. So now all that's left to do is to light it. Right, so that's the correct way of making a feather stick. Obviously, with the more practice and the more times you do it, you'll get a lot better and you'll learn your own techniques and easy ways of making it. So just remember that you always keep your arm straight, you pivot with your back, and that angling the knife helps you create a tighter bunch of shavings. Thanks for watching.